need to be leaders that be effective in the 21st century church. There are many challenges we see now in churches all over the world. But if we leaders can yield ourselves to more study, to more prayers, to more understanding of the word of life, I believe that relevant leaders will emerge from us. This is all we ask for. Thank you, King of Kings, for prayer with thanksgiving in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Glory be to God. Some of you must have seen some of these clips before. But I decided to repeat some of the clips because of those who have joined us as fresh ministers. But don't be deceived, there are other things that you see inside there. Now, I used to do this for us. I used to say people should count the number of F's so that you want to find out those of us who are blind and those of us who can see with or without glasses. So can you please quickly count the number of F's? I'll give you 1 minute to do that. That's the part to do that. At least it's shout it out. Count and then write it down if you have seen it. You know, when you're done. Features, themes, and the result of years of scientific study combined with experience of years. You should have now finished counting. Please write down what you have seen. How many you saw? Sir, how many did you see? Praise God. How many did you see? Praise God. How many did you see? Let's see count. Write it down. How many did you see? Write it down. How many did you see? Write it down. How many did you see, sir? Write it down. Write it down. How many did you see? Okay, write it down. Mom. Now, how many of us saw 3 F's? How many of us saw 2 F's? How many of us saw 3 F's? 3 F's. Put up your hand for 3 F's. Okay. Put your hands. How many of us saw 4 F's? You saw 4? And you're sitting beside your husband saw 3. How many of us saw 5 F's? How many of us saw 6 F's? How many of us saw 7 F's? Glory be to God. So, shall we count together?
Yes. Features 1, 2, 3. No, yes.
3. Right?
Yes.
4,
5. Oh, really?
5.
Wow. That's it.
6. Here. Amen. How many do you see? Answer me now.
I saw 5, but it was 6.
Wow. You saw 5, but it was 6. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. The reason why I've done this exercise is this. We have seen the same thing. We are given the same time. Alright? We all have the same education and background, so to say. How come that some people who see only 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 when it's same text? There's some people who also try to go above everything by even counting this as part of the F. Which means when they say they are seen 7. And people who go that extent are the kind of people who make a lot of difference. Amen. In every aspect of their lives. Amen. So, moving forward now, in this training, we see a number of new things, and I hope we see them together. Our text is taken from Ephesians chapter 4, verses 1 to 16. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 1 to 16. I need somebody to pick up the microphone and read it for me. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 1 to 16. Has anybody found it? Pastor Kido.
Message.
No. Yeah, read message. Read message.
Ephesians chapter 4, from verse 1. In light of all this, Here's what I want you to do. While I'm locked up here, a prisoner for the master, I want you to get out there and walk. Better yet, run on the road God called you to travel. I don't want any of you sitting around on your hands. I don't want anyone strolling off down some path that goes nowhere. And mark that you do this with humility and discipline, not in fits and starts, but steadily, pure, pouring yourself out for each other in act of love, alert at noticing differences, and quick at mending fences. You were all called to travel on the same road and in the same direction, so stay together, both outwardly and inwardly. You will have one master, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who rules over all, works through all, and is present in all. Everything you are and think and do is permeated with oneness.
Amen. What would we read? Is that the right scripture? Is that the right scripture? Ephesians 4.
1 to 6.
1 to 16.
1 to 16. Sorry. But that doesn't mean you should all look and speak and act the same. Out of generosity of Christ, each of us is given his own gift. The test of this is he climbed the high mountain, he captured the enemy and seized the booty. He handed it all out in gifts to the people. Is it not true that the one who climbed up also climbed down to the valley of death? And the one who climbed down is the one who climbed back up to the highest heaven. He handed out gifts above and below, filled heaven with his gift, filled earth with his gift. He handed out gifts to apostles, prophets, evangelists, and pastors, teachers, to train Christ's followers in skilled servant work, working within Christ's body, the church, until we are all moving rhythmically and easily with each other, efficient and graceful in response to God's Son, fully matured adult, fully developed within and without, fully alive like Christ. No prolonged emphasis among us, please. We will not tolerate babes in the woods, small children who are an easy mark for impostors. God wants us to grow up to know the whole truth and tell it in love. Like Christ in everything, we take our lead from Christ, who is the source of everything we do. He keeps us in step with each other. His very breath and blood flow through us, nourishing us so that we will grow up healthy in Christ, robust in love.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. I've used that scripture as the foundation for this training, and we have some revelations that I believe the Lord wants us to emphasize upon. From Ephesians 4:11, you see that God gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and some teachers. In our next training, I'm going to bring out about 60 questions that we will answer that will indicate to us the kind of calling that we have primarily. Amen. Because the calling starts usually from a particular level. Now, for the people that the Lord gave this thing to, the responsibility for apostles and prophets and evangelists and pastors are specific, very specific. But what we see most of the time is that we see pastors more or less repeating what other pastors do, imitating one another or other pastors, whereas we are differently gifted. The purpose for which God gave us responsibilities was specific, like I said. He said, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. That was in Ephesians 4:12-15. Right? Verse number 3 is that the process of operation were also clearly defined. It says, we are to speak the truth in love for the purpose of growing up into Him in all things, which is the head, even Christ, who is our Lord and Master. From many things we see in social media these days, we can ask ourselves, are we speaking the truth in love? Are we speaking the truth in such a way that we may grow up in Him in all things, which is the head? I don't want our ministers in just somebody to be confused as to the kind of calling that the Lord has on our church here in the parish. I don't want anybody to be in doubt at all. And because of that, I expect that our ministers will have a connectivity with God Almighty, that you will hear from God at all times. Most of the time. Amen. And after you have heard from God, because there is a level of leadership among us here, the Lord, being not a lot of confusion, will always confirm what He has spoken to you, to the leadership. And where there is any doubt, the leadership will probably ask me to give him some time to seek the face of God and pray. Now, reason number 4. We tell us the vision why Christ has been so good, or God has been so good to give all those different ministries. Number 1, to achieve the unity of the faith. To achieve the unity of the faith. So wherever we go as ministers, as children of God, our primary purpose will be to achieve the unity of the faith. Again, I say that from what we see in social media all the time, it's dicey for one to conclude that there's unity of the faith in Christendom now. And the second thing, which is the vision also, is that we acquire the knowledge of the Son of God. We acquire the knowledge of the Son of God. The acquisition of knowledge of the Son of God makes us become sons of God ourselves, not men of God. I always make that distinction. Men of God sometimes can be referred to as slaves of God. But Christ did not go on the cross to make us slaves of God. He did not go on the cross to make us men of God. He went on the cross to make us sons of God. And then the purpose is for us to gradually achieve perfection in Him. That is for all of us to end up becoming like Jesus Christ. I can give many examples of the way Jesus Christ lived on earth. The one that I find very fascinating was his arrest in the Garden of Gethsemane, where one of the disciples threw the sword and cut off the hair out. One of the people came to arrest him. Jesus Christ rebuked Peter and then healed that person. Now, if you look at the way many of our pastors in social media from all over the world accuse each other, pointing fingers and everything, of course the devil is happy that, lo and behold, we are fighting ourselves. And you and I know that a house that is divided will not stand, but we will stand. Amen. who we stand as a church of God. And then we are given the vision and we are given those responsibilities for us to be able to attain unto the measure of the stature of his fullness. Let me tell you something here, that revelation I got from God. It's okay for me to lay my hand on somebody and the person is healed or he falls down. It's okay. But it's far better for me to lead somebody to understand the power he or she has in Christ. So that when he or she prays by himself, he by himself can use the word of God to deliver himself. If your experience is like my own, it's called that everybody, the same sort of people come out to fall down at every meeting. They are the same sort of people. So if that is what we are achieving, then we are not doing much. We know that we are empowered to lay hands, that we know. But the greater achievement is for us to make disciples of children of God who can also lay hands on themselves and lay hands on other people. So what's the punchline? This is going to lead us to this essence of our calling as leaders in the ministry. The church is organized into leadership structure, purposely for the transformation of lives. What did I say just now?
Church is organized.
Let me ask you a rhetorical question here. How do you feel when somebody approaches you and says, "Oh, Pastor Kido, you will not remember me, but 7 years ago, you were in our church, and you gave that message, and that message changed my life." That's a powerful testimony. And children of God who are leaders should always get this kind of testimony wherever they go. How do I feel when somebody walks up to me and says, "Pastor Nero, I've been looking forward to meeting with you again. 6 years ago, this is what you did, this is what you said, I transformed my life." In a way, I feel happy. Inside myself, my flesh feels happy. But the truth of the matter is that I feel frightened, I feel afraid that, wow. So, God is still in the business of using me to transform people's lives. He drives me to a place of humility. He drives me to a place where I thirst more for Him. When I was a younger minister, of course I walked tall. I believe that, oh yes, I'm getting there, that's the way it is. And I keep on telling us that when I was pastoring 1800 people in Ibadan, I thought I'd become a senior pastor. In fact, I was an area pastor in the headquarters in Butimeta. Dining and whining with people who are now AGOs. But when I got to the USA, I knew that even pastoring 1800 people, I was a training pastor. Right now, I still see myself as a training pastor. And Apostle Paul also gave a similar relation with himself. Guys, we have not even started. Amen? Yeah. We have not even what? Started. We have not even started. But I believe that the Lord is going to help us. So let's talk a little bit about leadership now. Let's talk more about leadership. But it's an area where many of us are failing because we seem not to have a correct perspective of what leadership is about. Number one, leadership is about coordination of relationship between leaders and followers. Coordination of relationship between leaders and followers. And this is why it is most important for us to ensure that our attitude towards doing the work will be by team effort. And leadership is also about giving direction and motivation to the team. How do you give direction to the team? I like to follow the example of Jesus Christ. You discover that it wasn't common practice for Jesus Christ to point at his disciples to say, go in that direction. Excuse me. It was more of his practice to lead his people into what they're supposed to be doing, or where they're supposed to be going. So it gets on my skin when we have leaders who hang around supervising the work others are doing, when they're able-bodied, without them participating. Leadership is also navigating the team through the vision and getting them committed to the mission. There are two things there. The vision is usually one. The mission is a process through which you achieve the vision. And so mission can be plural. Because the processes and the routes to be taken may differ. Why? Because people have to bring in their various skills and talents and everything. So that leads me to discuss how do leaders manifest? How do we evolve in leadership? There's a formal training which is very important, the kind we are doing now. And God has given me direction to begin to do this in Los Angeles as we approach the new year 2020. And we are going to be doing it for as many ministers as possible. We're interested, we're going to be doing it globally, maybe once or twice a year for the whole of Southern California. But among ourselves, we're going to be doing it on a quarterly basis. Because I tell you something, that happens to be some of the areas of my greatest strength that has helped me tremendously in ministry. Formal training. Some of us achieve leadership skills by birth or by inheritance. And we can say by birth, if you are born again, yes, if you are born again, leadership is put for you automatically, but it's not, it doesn't just happen like that. It grows in you. Ability to love people grows in you as you mature in the salvation of your life, of your soul. By experience also, leadership manifests by experience, and the fourth one is by circumstance. For example, I can let you know that in my family, my immediate biological family, I became a leader by circumstance. I wasn't the firstborn. My brother, late Taiwo, was the firstborn. And normally all of us should defer to him. But when he passed, I had no choice. Amen. That's my circumstance. Sometimes you are going somewhere and then something happens that you do not expect. Maybe there are four of you in a nice vehicle and something happens to the car, maybe the tire burst. And then the four people are going to begin to have different reactions. Somebody may say, oh my God, I'm going to get late. I didn't know that this would happen. The person will be worried about himself or herself. The other person will be worried for the sake of everyone. Let's just get out. Let's call AAA. Let's try and cut and then move this car from here. And somebody will say, let's just abandon the car because we are going for interview. But among them, somebody will come up to give the best advice, that will more or less downplay the danger of what had just happened or the consequence of what had just happened. As is a leader by circumstance. Amen. Now I want to step forward by giving us the characteristics of a leader. The first thing we need to see is that a good leader combines charismatic and transformational attributes. Charismatic and transformational attributes. I like the word charismatic. Somebody who has charisma. Somebody that people want to be around you and be happy and be encouraged. And such people find it easy to influence other lives. So a characteristic of a leader is a sure characteristic of a leader is that it goes ahead and in advance, acting as a guiding force. So when we say go ahead and advance, acting as a guiding force means he studies ahead, he prays ahead, he sees where God wants to lead his people and he takes the lead. The next thing is that a leader motivates people towards a certain purpose or goal. A certain purpose or goal. For example, in appointing a minister for the Bible college, that's a reason. And the goal is to get as many people as possible into the college to have a superior knowledge of the Bible and the scriptures. I mean, to make people become enlightened, to make us become a learning congregation of the word in depth, in a manner that they be better equipped in passing on the message of the gospel to other who are intellectually based. I went to Nigeria and I went to see one of my friends now in his office. He's an architect, a successful architect. And I met another professor there, a professor of medicine. And when I entered, they said, "Oh, pastor," they began to more or less mock me in a way, a friendly way. They said, "How did you wish they could do this and do that and do that?" And then one of them said something that I believe was for the pit of hell. He said, "Well, I understand you very well." He said, "We are all serving the same God. It's only approaches that are different." Before, when I was a younger Christian, I would have sat down there to begin to argue with them, to say, "Oh, no, I'm not serving the same God," and my energy was wasted. And I just told them straight away, "Well, you guys are intellectually based, you are learning and everything. I believe that inside our hearts we know the truth." And just let them that message. You know, it takes them of academic development. It takes a level of learning, understanding, with wisdom, to be able to more or less preach the message of the gospel to a certain category of people. People that we find in ivory towers, people who are in the businesses, Wall Street, all over the place. Those are the people that you and I should develop ourselves to a point of preaching the gospel to them successfully. Amen. Mm-hmm. If you see somebody who is, I don't want to use poor because no child of God is poor, is poor. If you see somebody who is just low there, and the person has gone to a party where he or she will receive the gospel from anybody, it's easier to preach to some people. Any of us can do that. Any other ministers who are not as educated as us can do that. But listen, we are not the one that's doing it. Remember, it's the Holy Spirit. Amen. But when we talk about people who are sophisticated, people who are rich, people who don't know God, people who believe they have everything, and they don't have Christ, it's going to be easier for the Holy Spirit to use people like you and I. But we must have depth. Amen. And then the leader draws people into a certain course of action. This is why when we are appointed and we are given assignment to do, there are certain lines of action we need to follow. Many times you're going to find pastoring giving direction and structure to others' work and efforts. Direction and structure. Direction and structure. I've been asking myself over the years, why is it that in virtually all the nations of the world, where you have many redeemed parishes, the ones that are really thriving, they are usually less than about 20-25%. Why? If you look at Los Angeles, for example, I think we're about 12 parishes or 13 parishes thereabouts. I don't know the figure now. But the ones that are thriving, 2, 3, maybe at most 4. I believe that's not the mind of Christ. I also know that that's not the mind of General Overseer. Because General Overseer says that a church is a living organism that's bound to grow at all times. And what usually happens is that people who have been born again a long time ago, they believe they know the way this thing should be done. People who have held offices and positions in various churches and other churches believe they know this is the way things should be done. But you know one thing? If you are not careful, we have a parish in you, we have a parish in you, we have a parish in you, we have about 6 parishes, same parishes here. That's not the way it works. Amen. That's not the way it works. Very soon I believe that Lord will speak to some of you. He probably call some of you to say, okay, now, you can start your church. Come to me. And I pray for you. I will give you resources to go and start the church. But what I will not do, I will not disburse the workers that I have to you. Because we have found that frustrates a number of people. But we are now workers who want to go with you freely to go with you. We know we not hinder them. We pray for them once. We set them for it. The reason why I won't send workers is because the work has not even started in Jesus' embassy. Amen. But if people are called along with you, no problems. If someone is called with you and I don't allow him to go, the person will be a problem to me. Now, the leader also goes ahead to do a number of things. Advises on and coordinates others' ideas. But listen to me. A leader will be very effective with possess energy. Somebody say energy. So when you have energy, you are going to be enthusiastic about the task on hand. The reason why I run up the staircase most of the time is because I'm passionate about what I want to do. I also see that as an opportunity for me to do some exercise. So that gives me some energy. I know if you don't have a sound energy, your mental ability will be diminished. So you have to be smart. You have to have energy physically. You have to have energy emotionally. You have to have energy spiritually. And in so doing, your reasoning faculty will be excellent. A leader has to advise and coordinate other people's ideas. This is very important because everybody will believe that he has ideas, she has ideas, everybody has ideas. Amen. Because after all, we are all living organisms and we are all trained and we have experiences. Amen. But the coordination of these ideas is what makes a church move forward as one. And sometimes your idea may not be receptive to the corporate total idea that we are talking about. Don't take it as if maybe the pastoral doesn't like me. I have a weakness, which was a sense of strength. I'm not capable of disliking people. I'm not capable of disliking. I just saw that. I'm not capable of disliking people. Amen. I think it's a gift. And I thank God for that. I may not like the way you are doing something. I may not like the process that you are adopting. But I'm not capable of disliking people any longer. And that's the level of growth that I thank God for. Amen. And I want you to see that among us. We're going to use very soon, we're going to use the anniversary committee, 20th anniversary committee, as a case study to see the kind of battles that they fought each other when they were in that program. Now, a leader has authority to lead by instruction and by correction. Instruction and correction. Not by coercion. Write that one down, please. Not by coercion. You lead by instruction. You lead by correction, not by coercion. I've seen in many places these days, many churches these days, where people are coerced. You better do it this way or you'll be in trouble. Church is not supposed to be like that. In fact, I think Redeemed is going something now that we have to define the way the church runs in North America. And what is that thing? There's information that those who are 70 should retire. That is what's operating in Nigeria. And the people that are supposed to be retired here in North America are saying that in this land, there is no discrimination against age. That's the law. That's number one. Number two, many of them, out of the anxiety to grow churches, have used their personal buildings to mortgage or as a collateral for churches they bought. And not just that, in the US, you that started the church is the one that government wants to reckon with. So, for example, if somebody else has to be pastor just embassy outside me, all registrations have to be cancelled. And then a new one brought up for the person that's going to take over. That's the law here. So discussion is still going on in that regard. Amen. So, authority to lead by instruction and coercion, what we're talking about. Some skills are required for anybody who wants to be an effective leader. What kind of skills are we talking about? Human skill, technical skill, and conceptual skill. Who can give an example of what a human skill is? Quickly, human skill. Anybody? Pastor? Human skill.
Human skill would be ability to
ability to be able to talk, the power of utterance, right? Human skill, sir.
Be able to motivate others.
To be able to motivate others. Human skill. Charismatic skill. But that's one word I'm looking for that we always running from. If you want to, there's some employment that says you must be able to carry a load that's about
At least 25 pounds.
at least 50 pounds.
No, 50 pounds, too much.
Right there.
There's some employment that says you should be able to carry 25 pounds. And when it is 50 pounds, they give you a back support. That's not the kind of work that God has promised us. Amen.
Amen.
Human skill has to do also with your ability to reason. Human skill has to do with your ability not always to make judgment after listening to the first person that comes to the point. To be able to weigh things out and many other things like that. How about technical skill? Any example of technical skill? Anybody wants to help me here? For leader? Educational skill, like in being a good instructor, vocation, any other skill, your career, your profession, to be able to balance the books. Amen. To be able to balance the books. So every minister must have an idea of how to maintain a simple accounting system. We call it balance sheets, income and expenses. Amen. And so all the ministers will be expected to confer with the man in charge of finance to find out how best it is to run even the books for either your school of disciples or Bible college or your Sunday school. Everything that comes, everything that has to do with dollar. We are still waiting for the account of the people that planned the anniversary. They ran a budget that's almost about $35,000 to $40,000, which is good. Which is very good. Amen. So if you don't have a skill, if you don't have technical skill of putting dollar and cent together, then your leadership skill is still not totally complete. Your potential as a leader is not perfected. How about conceptual skills?
Ability to think, visualize,
Vision.
think forward.
Visualize.
Yes.
Anticipate.
To bring great ideas, to look beyond, amen. That Job says that nobody takes off without knowing where he or she is going to land. Amen. Now I want to go to Houston next week. And I know what I'm going to do in Houston. Is that also? I know the hotel I'm going to stay in. And I know how I'm going to move around. But the pilot has to fly me down to Houston. So even though when I know where I'm going to land, I still cannot go by myself. Leadership is like that. There are many things you want to do, you want to achieve, that you need a pilot. Amen. You cannot pilot yourself in the areas that you are not knowledgeable. Amen. So now let's move forward and look at something that I call leaders' emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the melting point of traits and skills of a good leader. And we are tailoring this towards what we call the traits and skills approach. Number one, self-awareness. Self-awareness. Do you know that as a leader, those who like you, those who love you, the congregation, they want to live like you. They want to pray like you. They want to talk like you. They want to dress like you. So if you know who you are, and then you tailor who you are to what's acceptable to our Lord Jesus Christ, then you use your self-awareness in a way not just to develop yourself, but to influence others. There's also something also called self-regulation. One thing I like a lot are people who know their limits, or who take the trouble to define their limits, or who know the areas where they can achieve much and the area where they cannot achieve much. As much as I rate myself in a way as a good person within acceptable limit, I know that I'm a novice when it comes to balancing books. So what do? I open myself to the person who's an expert in doing that. Amen. That's very important. When Esco was alive, Pastor Esco, because I knew that at that time, I couldn't probably pray for more than 1 hour without losing concentration. I made sure we sit by Esco because Esco could pray for 2 hours non-stop. So I so doing, knowing who I am, knowing how to tame myself, I join myself to somebody who can do something better than me. Motivation is another good part of a leader's emotional intelligence. You must know how to say the right word. The right word, even to that person who is encouraging, for him to remain motivated. Because I tell you, out of 12 disciples of Jesus Christ, you have a Judas, you have somebody who will doubt your Christian, who will doubt your ability to lead, and you have somebody who will deny you. Those are three we know. Or those are three whose acts were revealed. With others. So, but for you to be able to say the right word to that encouraging person and still carry him or her along is a sure sign of a great leader. All those things we're talking about may not be popular, it may not be easy unless you have your heart to empathize with people. Empathize with people. Love people. First of all, consider their situation before you judge them. Amen? Now, many people will abuse that, we know. But personally, I don't make laws about people who are people with idiosyncrasies, who abuse privileges. Alright? But I want to look at somebody's situation first. And if I'm giving adequate notice about that person's situation, then I can make decisions without any problems. Moving forward quickly, I want us to look at what I call leadership styles and theories. All these leadership styles and theories that we adopt or we use in the world, in the corporate world, the skills approach, the path goal theory, the styles approach, the team leadership theory, the situational approach, the psychodynamic approach, the contingency theory approach, and transformational leadership approach. For now, for today, for the immediate future, and for today, I want to dwell on the characteristics of transformational leadership. The first point we see that leadership that will transform people will influence followers through a vision. And what's a vision? A vision is talking about a better tomorrow. a better future. A leader that will transform other people, will inspire followers instead of controlling them. Inspire followers instead of controlling them. And that same leader will lead by example through role modeling. A good leader must contribute to subordinates' intellectual growth. And that's a reason. If you don't bring your subordinates to a level of intellectual growth that you are, it's going to be difficult for you to reason together with them. It's going to be easy for you to, it's going to be difficult for you to transfer the vision to them. It's going to be a bit uneasy for them to understand where you are really going. Then, a good leader will enhance the meaningfulness of goals. How the goal is meaningful. Good leader will ensure or will lead the people to fulfill self-actualization needs. You know, I discovered that, and it's a dangerous thing, but I don't want to give it up. I discovered that when I see one of my congregation who advance in knowledge, academically in particular, I fall in love with them. I just fall in love with them. If you say, oh, this person has just, look at the boy that I embraced on the pulpit that day, Kobe. I love Kobe because he was young, he's young and he's hardworking. But the moment I heard that he's going to college, so it was like an icing on the cake for me. So when I embraced him, I was emotional because I said, oh my God, praise God, this guy is moving up, he's moving higher. So if I see somebody who has a bachelor and they are now told that, of course I'm happy as a bachelor, and I'm told, oh, now he's going for his master's. Somebody asked me, oh, you are doing PhD? Oh my God. How many can those people do wrong with me? How many can they do wrong with me? I can mention examples. The two people that are leading our teenage people. How many? And it be difficult for me to see fault in them. There's another young lady they call Comfort. Comfort is her name, right? She's about to complete her PhD now. Come and play Scrabble. Come to me and come and play Scrabble. Why? Because I understand that a good leader will always encourage the followers for them to attain a level of self-actualization. And by so doing, the leader himself will not be alone up there, not be alone up there. A good leader will empower followers through motivation. And this is something that we do together, many of us one-on-one. Pastor and I, we do that together. Pastor Shi and I do that. Sometimes somebody will meet you and then the same person will probably come to me at a different time. And then they discover that it's exactly what she has doing that Pastor is telling him. Sometimes somebody will be Pastor and say, Pastor, you know this is exactly what Pastor says. This is kind of thing that should happen among us all the time. Amen. But we have to lift ourselves as a team to that level. A leader must exhibit confidence in subordinates' ability. Confidence in subordinates' ability. And when that person has a disability, it means the responsibility of the leader to try and remove that disability or change that disability to ability. That is for the person who is teachable. There are many followers that are not teachable at all. Keep on repeating to them on and on and on. But we don't give up. In church, we don't give up. Amen. And the leader must establish meaningful rapport with subordinates. You get involved in their lives. How are they doing? How are things with you generally? Ask those personal questions that will improve on intimate relationship between the leader and the follower. And then, so that's very important, a leader must work towards enhancing collective identity. Collective identity. Let me say something to you that is that can be very boastful. When we were in Papa Parish under Tunirapo, I was happier, fulfilled, being a minister under Tunirapo as against leading the church. Because once you've seen one of our pastor parish in those days, it's like you have seen everybody. It's like you have seen everybody. And that's the kind of thing I want us to achieve in our ministry. Amen. That when you have seen Sheye, you have seen Isaac. When you have seen Isaac, you have seen Biola. When you have seen Biola, you have seen Aodeji. You have seen Noel. You have seen Patricia. You have seen my brother. I have seen my brother again. And that's the only reason why the pastor comes down to that level in such a that we all can have a corporate identity. There are certain things that we need to mention as to conclude this segment quickly. There are different levels of mentoring. And all of us should embrace these 4 levels. There's something you call upward mentoring, which means you pastors, ministers, even under pastoring and pastoring, can attempt to mentor us. There's something called downward mentoring. I'm able to mentor HODs and other workers under you. There's something called internal peer mentoring. That is a kind of horizontal mentoring among us. And there's something called external peer mentoring. As a pastors, I respect so much Los Angeles. They can influence me, they can say, because I find it easy for me to submit myself to them. I may be older than them in age, I may be older than them in ministry. I can mention 1 or 2 names. The pastor of Trinity Church, Pastor, what's his name now? Pastor was with us at our university. What's his name? Makode is one of them, but not even Makode, the senior pastor. Adiago. About 13 years ago, 14 years ago, the man said, Pastor, no, I know you as a pastor, but I know that I know the kind of challenges you are having in the redeemed. Can we meet for prayer? I went to meet him. The man prayed 90 minutes non-stop. I was on my knees. And he was sweating. 90 minutes, I was on my knee. I broke down. No singular person that I know, maybe apart from my wife, has labored in the place of prayer like that, one-on-one with me. And he has no problem. I think a few years later, he lost the big job that was pastoring due to internal politics. That's a kind of extra peer mentoring. Amen. Now, let's talk about priority of church leadership. Number 1, welfare of the people. There's an area that we have not started just embassy. Welfare of the people. I will be talking about getting a committee together or having a team or a department together for welfare of the people. The next priority is developmental training for the people. Developmental training for the people. Whether we like it or not, it's my advice that everybody who's a minister in just embassy be create time to go through Bible college and have at least ordinary diploma in the Bible college. with all my knowledge of training, what I gained from Bible college still helps me till tomorrow in understanding the basics of the doctrine of the Bible. The same thing goes for school disciples. It's also our priority to make sure that people's self-actualization needs are fulfilled. And that's why we said, Pastor Guido, this year we are doing recognition of those who graduated last year and this year. Amen. Please let's we do it. Yeah, I think we have enough number now to do that. Then we try and inspire people and not control them, because we did not create them, and because we leave room for the Holy Spirit to work what he has to work in that person's life. Also, we role model Christ effectively. We role model Christ effectively. I want to take note of this, because some of you may have to develop a paper each for each of these things I want to mention. 4 practices of transformational leadership. I need Pastor Kido and his wife to write a page for me on how a leader can inspire a shared vision. So, this is your wife. 1 page. And the book has to write a page for me on how to challenge a process, an ongoing process. Amen. It has to be different too. Oh, God has not to do that. There's no page. Put us on that. I want us to do something that direction. I need Lloyd to write for me a page on how to enable others to act. That's the kind of leadership thing. How to encourage your heart. How to encourage your heart. Uncle Shea and Uncle Shea, a page each on how to encourage your heart. Yes, how to encourage your heart. Uncle, how to challenge the process. That's what I said. Sir, how to enable others to act. That's 1 page each. And I do this for my own benefit. I'm sorry if I appear to be selfish, because I know that when I get all those things, then I'll be in a position to improve myself on how to become an effective, better leader among us. Amen. There are some challenges that we face as charismatic leaders, transformational leaders, sorry. The challenge of remaining at the top. That's the challenge of a transformational leader. There's also the challenge of being too busy. When you are all consumed with so many things and so many fronts, you are left with less time to be charismatic towards others, so to say. And then a charismatic leader is supposed to, a transformational leader is supposed to identify with everybody, even the common man. Even in the congregation, you have to identify with everybody. Whether the person old granny or a young person. And also the challenge of sectarianism, that is, you as a transformational leader, you cannot afford to be sectional. And then there's a challenge of being vulnerable and visualized, which means overutilized, overused. Apostle Paul says, if I'm poured out like a drink offering. Now I've tried to use analogies of drinks for us before. There are all kinds of drinks. Let's start from the drinks in the world. Schnapp or cognac. You can't drink it anyhow. You can't just drop like that. You can't. And come to beer. Some people are addicted to drinking beer can just drink a whole bottle like that. Let's come to minerals. Coke. Because of the gas. You can't drink Coke anyhow. Then Fanta. She can finish a bottle of Fanta like that, not stop. She's a lady. Also water, when you are thirsty. Amen. I mentioned this to let you know that the congregation that you have will drink you like that anyhow. There are people who drink you like Fanta. Obje, where are you? I'm coming now. Obje, today, Obje, on phone, Obje, everything, Obje, and you give them, they are drinking like Fanta, non-stop. But you have a choice. The choice is for you to make sure that that person is developed. That person is discipled to become more self-reliant. Amen. And to put his focus all his life. Amen. Team transforms. Without cancer, purposes are disappointed, but the multitude of counselors, they are established. In this ministry, there is no going it alone. That is to say, I don't have a ministry of what's your answer? Sunday school. I don't have a ministry of Sunday school in Church Embassy. That is your ministry. I just run everything. We discover that this is how it's going to be. I mean, you are too far ahead. Leave us behind. That goes for all the ministry also. Amen. Which means there must be proper consultation at all level. Uncle, you have not been giving us reports on Nigeria program. First. That becomes your personal ministry, right? We'll talk about that later. The school of disciples is not our religious ministry at all. Amen. Prayer. You are the head of prayer. It's not a ministry. Bible college. You have become the principal, whatever title you want. I agree, but it's not Isaac's college. I will not be hearing that this is what's happening in Bible college, that we ministers do not know anything about. Amen. We need to guard against that. So that's why we talk about team leadership. Corporate growth is enhanced through team efforts. The kind of ministry we want is such that we'll be so open that if he's not around for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, maybe he's gone home in Nigeria for 3 weeks, then he should be able to step in. Does that make sense to anybody? And if by virtue of great things that are happening in Isaac's life, he says, oh, Pastor, for the next 1 month, because of the promotion that just happened to me, or thing I'm going to do. So I hear you say amen. Then we can say, oh, Isaac is going for training or a greater employment. Please, take over. Take it back. Pastor, I look at the paper, I don't know. I don't know where to start, I don't know where to finish. Can we start all over again? We are not going to do that here. Amen. Team leadership. We are looking for breadth of leadership here. And we are fostering this leadership. And for that to happen, we prioritize task over rank. The Menzio, I love that guy. I read his book a long time ago. The early church therefore emphasized the functions of the servants of God over and above titles. I think when I go to regional pastor, regional pastor, regional pastor, regional pastor, regional pastor. It's not in the Bible. Be careful. The bishop is in the Bible. Let me conclude by telling us the nature, the transforming nature of God. The Lord works from the inside out. Amen. Did someone hear what I said? Forget about all those things. Mommy, forget about filling that gap. Forget about about it. I will print the entire thing for everybody eventually. Amen. The Lord works from where? But the world works from the outside in. The world tries to take people out of the storm, but Christ takes the storm out of the people. The world moved men by changing their environment. Christ changes men who in return change their environment. The world regulates human behavior, but Christ regulates human nature. So finally, the essence of leadership in Christendom is for ordinary life to be transformed into a Christ-like life. Compassion, the very heart of the Master, makes the difference. Amen. That's where I want to stop right now. I think I've taken longer time than necessary. Give the Lord a clap of praise. I need to take some questions because I'm going to quickly go into the second training, which will not be as long as this one.